What is happening, my lovely islanders? It is Sydney Island here. That's Island with the Y, not an S. And guess who is finally back to the Lilith series, starting off with Lilith and Sagittarius. Yeah, so I haven't actually posted an astrology video in about 4 months, but here I am doing Lilith and Sagittarius. And before I get into the topic of this video, I would like to let you all know that I did a Lilith in Astrology Explained to the Depths video. Most likely it's going to be in one of these corners right here once I can get a hold of a good working laptop so I can be able to do all of that stuff. And also it'll be in the description box below as well to that video, so y'all can get a more in-depth explanation of Lilith and what she's all about in astrology. So now I'm going to go over the polls that I usually ask y'all in my community tab, and I'm going way back, okay, like 9 months ago. And I'm trying to go in order from the oldest poll questions to the most recent ones. But I asked my subscribers, out of these opposite signs, Aquarius and Leo, which do you feel like is most likely to shoplift / steal your shit? And guess what? It was almost neck and neck, with Aquarius 51% out of 100 and Leo 49% out of 100 from 120 votes from my subscribers. So Aquarius won, but they were just 2% off and it would have been a 50-50. I don't know why I asked this question. Like, I'm looking back at it like 9 months ago. What was I thinking? Why did I decide to ask my subscribers that question of all questions? I don't know, but thank y'all for participating anyway. And also follow me on my social medias. It's going to be in the description box below and somewhere on this screen. Now let's get to the topic of the video. So let me give y'all a little rundown of Lilith, just a brief explanation of what Lilith represents in the study of astrology. So Lilith is the dark feminine energy of whatever sign it's in. Lilith is the perversion or the corruption of that zodiac sign. Lilith brings out the kinkiness and the pervertedness and the strangeness and the peculiarness of whatever sign it's in. Lilith is often called Black Moon Lilith. So Black Moon Lilith is different than your moon sign, okay? Don't get those two mixed up. The Black Moon Lilith is the darker side of your personality, and it's often linked to your sexuality. When it comes to the manifestation of Lilith in women, this is typically the way that a woman rebels when it comes to her sexuality and when it comes to her rights. And when it comes to men, this is more so what a man fears but is also highly attracted to in a woman. Now let's get to Lilith and Sagittarius. I'm proud of myself in the way I said that. I was like a sexy newscaster, like my whole voice. I like that. Okay. So anyways, Lilith and Sagittarius, man, this is crazy. I'm coming with the energy because Sag, y'all got the energy, okay? This is expansive fire, right? We have 3 fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Man, I miss talking about this shit. Aries is the fire that starts, okay? Leo is fixed fire. So it's stable fire, fire that's like in the center. Like a fire in a fireplace. But Sagittarius, baby, Sagittarius is a wildfire. Sagittarius is the fire that spreads. So those who have a Lilith and Sagittarius are very, very wild. And they may not even come off as wild until you really get to know them. And then it all comes out. But typically people with Lilith and Sagittarius can't help it but to show their wild side and their wild personality. It just comes out. A lot of Lilith and Sagittarius people are very social, very extroverted people. For example, I think of Jennifer Lawrence, who is a Leo sun with a Lilith and Sagittarius, the actress. And I remember one of these interviews, she said one of her biggest fears was being quiet. Okay? And I'm like, yeah, because just like a Sagittarius opposite sign, Gemini, they like to talk, okay? Sagittarius love to run their mouth. Guess who else has a Lilith and Sagittarius? Donald Trump, who is famous for saying things out of his mouth that is very offensive, that is very inappropriate, okay? Lilith and Sagittarius people are often highly sexual, and typically they're very sexually promiscuous and sexually experimentative, and sometimes they're so promiscuous and experimentative that they lack morals when it comes to their sexuality. They'll just do it whenever, wherever. They don't care. They'll do it in a church. They don't care. They just have no morals, and they might actually get off on doing it in a church. Keep in mind that Sagittarius is the sign of religion. It is the sign of higher knowledge and learning and spirituality. So Lilith and Sagittarius people are very impulsive in nature. Okay, and mind you, this is the dark side of Sagittarius, so you could be so impulsive that it kind of disrupts the flow in other people's lives around you. People who have a Lilith and Sagittarius typically aren't really the best relationship people. You know, they have issues committing. You know, they want to cheat sometimes, or they want to be in open relationships. You know, they're like, just let me be free, man. Just let me go. I want to do a little something over there. I want to do a little something over here. I want to go party. I want to do this. Just let me be free. Don't hold me back. You know, Lilith and Sag is like super wild and out there, and you know, they don't want any type of restriction at all. Do not restrain me. And I can relate to this energy a little bit because I have a Sagittarius house stellium, which means that I have 3 planets in my 9th house. And 2 of those planets, one is my sun, one is my Mars. So I have a Sag energy. So that's why I'm so flamboyant and energetic when I talk. Hence me also having a Mars in Aries. And so Lilith and Sagittarius people are very adventurous. These are the type of people who would drop their 9 to 5 on the spot, pack up their suitcases, and go across the country. They will risk it all if it means that they will become closer to their success. These people can be opportunists. So wherever there's opportunity, they are very bold, very brave risk takers, and they will do whatever they need to do to get closer to the opportunity. And they don't care if they have to, you know, walk all over top of somebody or use somebody to get to where they need to go, because mind you, these people are very reckless, and sometimes they're not thinking while they're doing. They're just going off of their fiery impulse, because this is Lilith here. Lilith brings out the extremes of your zodiac sign, okay? And the extremes of Sagittarius is severe restlessness. Like, no matter where they are, they're just not satisfied, and they're just ready to pick up their shit and go. It doesn't matter if they just traveled to another country 2 nights ago. If they're not feeling that satisfaction in that new country, they're ready to pack up and go somewhere else. They're extremely restless, cannot be pinned down. Those who have a Lilith in Sagittarius, this is something that we've noticed in Donald Trump. These people can be very arrogant in their beliefs. And Donald Trump is the perfect example for this explanation, because Sagittarius is the sign of philosophy, okay? It's the sign of higher learning. It's the sign of your beliefs. And a lot of people with Sag energy can think very much black and white. You know, like, my beliefs are the only beliefs that matter, or my opinions are the only opinions that could possibly be right, and everybody else's opinion is just flat out wrong. You know, somebody who have a Lilith and Sagittarius could be on that extreme spectrum of like, I am God. Like, literally, someone with a Lilith and Sag could perceive themselves to be God, like, to a point where they're delusional, like our wonderful Cheeto Puff looking friend Donald Trump. If you watch him in interviews, I just be thinking, man, he really think that he can do no wrong. He really think that everything that comes out of his mouth is right. And he'll also just say things that are very sexual, that's kind of a little bit perverted, you know? Like I said, Lilith is the perversion of the zodiac sign. And Sagittarius, they're known to have diarrhea of the mouth. And he said a lot of things that were very inappropriate, very sexual, without seemingly to care, because he's God. It doesn't matter. Like, I am God. I can say what I want to say. I'm still going to get my millions at the end of the day. That's very much Lilith and Sagittarius, okay? So with this placement, be wary of viewing yourself as like better than everybody and smarter than everybody. You think you're more intelligent than everybody and can't nobody teach you nothing. That's the extreme of Lilith and Sagittarius, where you just like, I don't give a damn. I'm gonna do what I need to do. I don't care who I hurt. I am God, so no matter what I do is always right. That is the extreme toxicity of Lilith and Sagittarius. So if you have this placement and you have those tendencies, you need to work on that, because that is very dangerous and very toxic. And that's not good for your soul, my friend. So in relationships, someone who has a Lilith and Sagittarius can be unreliable. Like I said, they can be cheaters. And they have a tendency to be in and out of relationships. And if they are in a relationship with someone, it can be an off and on again relationship. Like my off and on again boyfriend for 2-3 years. We've been together for 3 years, but we've broken up for a month in between, and then we got back together. We broke up for 3, like that type of person where they can't really seem to stay in a relationship because they get restless, and they battle between their need for intimacy and their need for freedom. Because almost everybody has a need for closeness and connection of some kind, including Lilith and Sagittarius, but they battle with that need, because they fear that if they get too close, that the person that they get too close to will try to lock them down, and then their freedom just disappears. And Lilith and Sagittarius ain't having it. They ain't having it. You better not get your hands out my freedom. That is mine, sis. So people who have a Lilith and Sagittarius, because Sag does rule religion, a lot of the times these people had a very religious upbringing. So their parents may have been super religious, and it made them feel very restricted in their childhood. And so that's why sometimes they grow up and become very reckless, and they just say, screw religion. I don't have a religion. I am just my own God. I don't need any rules from this book or that book in the law of religion. Screw that. So these people are very, very rebellious. They could be rebellious with their sexuality, by being raised in a Christian household, for example, or a Catholic household, where they were raised to think that there was something wrong with being gay or bisexual, and so they rebelled and was like, I'm gonna be that just because y'all said that it was something wrong with it, because I am a rebellious Lilith and Sagittarius. And they may have been trapped underneath their parents' or guardians' belief, and been restricted, and it made them feel like they just had to be wild because they just have this fire in them, and they just, at some point, they're gonna have to release it. And when they do release it, it's gonna be extreme, it's gonna be crazy, it's just gonna be wild. I mean, these are the type of people who experiment with drugs, drink till they pass out, just because they want to feel something, they want to be alive. And they're always searching for that high. And it's not just with drugs. It's like they're searching for that high with sex or with conversation with people, because these people also have a strong desire for intellectualism. They have a strong desire for intellectual conversation. They need to be stimulated in any and every way that they possibly can, and they will go to extreme lengths to be stimulated. There's a lot of pressure on Lilith and Sagittarius to be somebody. They want to be somebody extraordinary. They do not want to live a mediocre life, and they don't want to be a mediocre person. They do not want to be forgotten. They think that it's like, life is too short to live a mediocre life. Life is too short to just be a regular person. They take pride in being different a lot of the times. They're very rebellious, like Aquarius. Like Sag and Aquarius get along because they like to be different, and they enjoy being that one person that thinks differently or dresses differently than everybody else or talks differently, because it makes them feel like they're a leader. And those who have a Lilith and Sagittarius typically are leaders by nature. Lilith and Sagittarius people, they have a need to find themselves, and that's why they travel so much, and travel helps them to find themselves. This is usually when they achieve true self-discovery, is through going overseas, is when they finally leave their parents' house, they finally go off to school, they finally, at age 35, finally are able to leave the state that they grew up in, or whatever it is. Once they finally leave and go somewhere foreign, this is typically when they find themselves, and this is typically when they find happiness and when they find joy. But since this is Lilith and Sagittarius, it can be on the dark end of it. So you have to be careful, though, when it comes to travel with Lilith and Sagittarius, because you can get very tempted. You could be like a man who goes overseas and he meets a woman overseas, a foreign woman, because a lot of people with Sag energy are attracted to exotic people, people who are foreign and have a foreign look to them. So let's say a man who's a Lilith and Sagittarius goes overseas and he meets this beautiful exotic woman, and she can lure him in to some very dangerous situations, because this is Lilith here. This is the dangerous feminine energy. This is the dark side of a woman. Okay, this is the dark side of a woman sexually. A Lilith and Sagittarius man overseas, because this is the sign of foreign travel. This could be where you experience the most danger. but it can be scary for you, but then it can also entice you and excite you. Like, yes, I'm getting the taste of danger, and I'm not even in my original, country. I'm somewhere new, and I'm just experiencing this danger, and I like it, And you could also wreak havoc overseas as well. Like, I'm overseas, man. I'm out here. Let's go crazy. So then you wreak havoc because you're finally away from your family and you're on your own, and you can do whatever you want to do. So back to the childhood real quick. The childhood of a Lilith and Sagittarius, you may have had parents who had two different cultures. Like, let's say you had a mother who was Catholic and a father who was Christian, or you could have had a mother who was wealthy and she married your father who was poor. This is usually a difference of social status, a difference of culture, a difference of religion. You usually have that in your childhood, with your parents. One of your biggest fears, Lilith and Sagittarius, is the fear of settling down. You have a fear of being stuck. You have a fear of being trapped. And you will do anything and everything in your power to make sure that you have your freedom for the rest of your life. That's not to say that a Lilith and Sagittarius can't eventually settle down. They can. I'm pretty sure a lot of Sagittarius have settled down. But even in their older age, they still gonna be sneaky linking and stuff, In their older ages, they may be married, but then they're like, man, I miss the old days when I used to run around wild and free. I was a free boy. I'm a free boy. And now you could be 70, ready to hit the streets and hook up with a prostitute. Okay, this is just the reality of it, because you gotta have that fix. You gotta have that taste of adventure, and this energy is very fiery. Okay, and it's gonna last for quite a while. With this placement, this can also create someone who is very insecure about their philosophies and their beliefs and their opinions, and very unsure of what to believe. So then they just decide to believe in whatever the other person believes in. And then on the opposite spectrum, this is someone who is very extreme about their opinions and beliefs. And like I said before, feels as though their opinions and beliefs is superior to everybody else. These people really do suffer from a serious superiority complex or God complex or things like that. Your karma, Lilith and Sagittarius, is all about your own personal truth. You are here to figure out what you truly believe in and to embrace that, and to be yourself unapologetically without having to step on people's toes to do that. Be yourself. With this placement, when it comes to your sexuality, this placement is also all about breaking free from sexual restrictions. So that's why a lot of people who have a Lilith and Sagittarius can be pansexual, bisexual, or homosexual because of their experiences feeling judged, for being who they were, or having experiences that traumatized them, and it caused them to want to take ownership of their sexuality because of their sexual traumas. For example, these people are meant to evolve through their sexual traumas and be a kick-ass sexual goddess. Women who have a Lilith and Sagittarius, it's really important for you to own your feminine sexuality. It's important for you to harness your feminine sexual power, because you have a lot of it, because you have that confidence. It's really important for you to own that. And when you do own that in a healthy way, you can be very inspiring to women who feel trapped in their sexuality, and women who feel like they are afraid to express their sexuality or to just be who they are sexually. These people, this is the sign of complete and total sexual liberation. So in the past, you may have felt shame towards your sexuality. You may have been shamed in your youth, or judged or condemned for your sexuality, or condemned for, it doesn't even have to be something extreme like condemned for being gay or anything like that. It could just be condemned for talking about sex too much, or condemned for talking about sex too loud in a public place, or you're just used to being suppressed in some kind of way, especially with your sexuality, your personality, and with your philosophies and beliefs. And you may have been shamed one way or another for your impulsive nature. Your parents or your older siblings or younger siblings or whoever may have guilted you for your impulsiveness and for your wildness, being like, why can't you just stay put? Why you always got to be so energetic? Why are you so restless? Just sit down and read a book, And that caused you to feel like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to go on an adventure. And so you have it in your mind, like, one day I'm going to break free from this restriction. One day, man, one day they're going to see me shining, doing my thing. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be my own self. I'm going to embrace all of my sexuality. That's all the things that you desire, having a Lilith and Sagittarius. And you can definitely have that, because you have that courage and you have that confidence and you're very charismatic, honey. Lilith and Sagittarius, y'all got that charming, charismatic fire. And you can have this look of lust in your eyes that draws people towards you, okay? A lot of people are drawn towards you just because you're unafraid. You're unafraid to express yourself. This is a placement of unapologetic self-expression. And that includes with your sexuality. And people are drawn to that. Women with the Lilith and Sagittarius, they're so out there and confident in their sexuality and in their personality that men cannot help it. They're like, wow, she is free. That is a free and liberated woman. And I want to know what it feels like I just want some of that. You know, I want some of that freedom. I want to be free like her, you know. And this could be a woman who turns other women gay for her. You know, like, she has a lot of power. You know, she's very powerful in her personality and in the way that she expresses herself and the way that she carries herself. These people have a very dominant aura about them and very dominant, very big personalities. Michelle Obama has a Lilith and Sagittarius, and look, she's Michelle Obama, okay? She definitely has a presence about her. Whenever I see Michelle Obama, I'm just like, the girl got it. She's confident in herself. She'll speak her mind. And I feel like she'll put Barack in his place if he out of order. And then you have actor Brad Pitt, who has a Lilith and Sagittarius, who is desired by millions and millions of women all across the globe. I think Brad Pitt is sexy as I don't know what. Oh, Lord, especially, you know, in his younger days when the blonde hair was fresh and popping, he was sexy, child. Oh, Lord. Ooh, he was he just kind of drips and oozes like a certain charm. Like, he is extremely charming. And that is a Lilith and Sagittarius for you. And with him, I'm thinking about him in like his younger years, and he kind of had a certain innocence, you know, like Sagittarius they have a very childlike spirit to them. And so with Sagittarius innocence, they have a childlike energy. It is like a childlike charm, but at the same time, it's still very sexy, you know? That is all that I have for Lilith and Sagittarius. I hope that you all enjoyed this video, and I know that you did, so give it a thumbs up and share this video with your friends, and leave a comment if you want, just asking me what else you want to see from me. Next up will be Lilith in Capricorn. I love you all. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.